I was getting to the age where I knew I wasn't going to improve anymore as a runner. So I wanted a new challenge. So I thought I'll do some triathlons, something a bit different. So I was training for a triathlon. We're at a place called Cherry Creek Reservoir. And my girlfriend was reading like Harry Potter, I think. We're on this like artificial beach at the reservoir. And I just ran into the water to go for a swim, and kind of, the water was up to my thighs, so I thought it was safe to dive in, so I dove in. But I think there's like a raised sandbar that I hit, and just loud bang, and then just a ringing in my ears, and I was still conscious, but I couldn't move, so I couldn't really work out what happened. I thought a boat had like hit me and was still on top of me, because I was just under the water, face down, just kind of unable to move. And then I started thinking, well, my girlfriend's reading a book. If she hasn't seen me, no one else is going to see me, because there's no one else around. So I was like, oh God, I'm probably going to die here. And it wasn't so much like your life flashing before you, it was more like, oh, this is embarrassing, I'm going to die like this. And then I started thinking about my parents and stuff, like, oh, what are they going to think? And like everyone I know, they're going to know that I've died in such an embarrassing manner. And then luckily, after it's probably only about 30 seconds, but seemed like a long time when I didn't know when my next breath was going to be. My ex-girlfriend, she pulled me out of the water and kind of dragged me onto the shoreline, and I couldn't feel anything from pretty much my neck down at all. So I was saying, oh, they were saying, oh, we'll call an ambulance. Some woman came to help, and I was saying, we'll call an ambulance. And I was like, no, it's all right, I'll be okay in a second. I'm just in shock. But I think I was just in denial, because I couldn't believe what had just happened, really. And then I thought my hands were like this, and then I looked down and they were like that. I was like, oh no, like I'm paralyzed pretty much. But I thought it was just going to be like a temporary thing at the time, I think, denial. And then
So you couldn't feel anything at all?
no, not at all. Like completely just switched off pretty much.
So what did you hit? I mean, you mentioned the sandbar. I mean, I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Yeah, well, I think it was just like, rather than being as deep as I thought it was, I think it was just like a mound of slightly like higher mound of sand. So it was shallower than I thought. And I think
Did you go to dive in or something?
Yeah, like I ran in. I didn't like dive off anything. It was like up to my thighs, the water. So I just did like a shallow dive. But like instead of hitting water like I was expecting, I just hit the bottom basically. And
on your head?
I think I had a bit of a graze on my chin. So I'm not sure if I like hit it and my neck bent that way, or if I hit it and my neck bent that way. It was probably that way because of the graze on my chin. And like I had a chipped tooth as well, I think. But I think like it hyperextended the neck, and then the fourth and fifth vertebrae like shattered, and then a bit of the vertebrae penetrated. Then a bit of the vertebrae penetrated the spinal cord, and it's about 70% damage. The spinal cord, it wasn't severed, so it's classed as a incomplete injury. So a complete injury is where you completely sever it, and incomplete's where it's like partially severed. But I think when it first happened, there's also like swelling and shock, so that's why I couldn't feel anything at all. Like now I can feel, like I can feel if someone's touching my legs and stuff, because it's an incomplete injury. But at the time, yeah, I couldn't move anything, couldn't feel anything.
I mean, that moment there, it's just a flippant thing which we've all done.
Yeah.
Just to dive in. I mean, looking back, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's been a lot of frustration over the years, and just like, oh man, I wish I knew getting something that like getting it slightly wrong could just have this much impact. But at the time when it first initially happened, I think I was still in denial and in shock, and I was thinking, oh God, I'm gonna have to do like 6 months of rehab here till I can walk again. It's like, I never pictured that I'd never be able to walk or even use my hands again. And it wasn't until like, I mean, when the paramedics came, I was like cracking jokes and stuff. I think I was just in denial, and I don't know, I'm fairly laid back anyway, but
yeah, but I mean, how are you supposed to know? You just, because it's never happened to you, you've never experienced this. And also you go back as a kid and you said, oh, you know, I've had a
Yeah,
few accidents, so
exactly. Yeah.
this was probably not something you were expecting, you know.
Yeah, and like at that point in my life, everything was going really well, my job and stuff. So maybe I was a bit overconfident, thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm untouchable. Everything's going great." Then all of a sudden, it just like slammed down to earth, slammed back to reality.